Know Your Candidate. Presented by Portland is Possible, broadcasted by XRAY FM. In this segment, we offer a brief background on the visionary candidates that are proudly standing and running for the acclaimed Portland Area City Council. For now, we have a candidate of District 4 that incorporates downtown, Slabtown, Chinatown, Lincoln, Hillsdale, Eastmoreland, Goose Hollow, and the Pearl District.
My name is Tony Morse, and I'm running for Portland City Council District 4, and I'm running for Portland City Council because Portland has an addiction crisis, and we need a recovery champion in City Hall to solve it.
How do you plan to collaborate with other councilors, both in and out of your district, to create meaningful progress?
Collaboration is really essential right now because we have so many different big issues that require partnerships with both folks who are going to be across different districts and in different layers of government throughout the metro area. So that really begins with having good relationships, nurturing those relationships, and practicing really excellent communication with fellow councilors and our counterparts at the county, metro, and state. I would point out that I'm one of very few candidates who is endorsed by Commissioners Carmen Rubio, Rene Gonzalez, and Dan Ryan. So I think I am someone who can really convene and collaborate and work with folks from across the spectrum of different perspectives.
How can the City of Portland support creative projects and people to have opportunities to make a comfortable living from their pursuits?
What comes to mind for me is the situation with the Keller Auditorium. And I think we need to be really thoughtful and considerate about what we do going forward. And for me, that means we embrace the Portland State option and we build this new venue that is going to be really exciting with thousands of seats that are capable for all kinds of different events. And meanwhile, while we're doing that, we don't lose what the Keller is bringing to Portland in terms of different types of productions. We don't want to lose those Broadway shows, and certainly we don't want our theatrical workers to lose work while the Keller is shut down and being remodeled. So I know it's an arts question, but I guess I came at it from an infrastructure perspective because once we build that Portland State option, we're going to have a much more vibrant, exciting, and robust art scene here in Portland.
In 30 years, how do you see the average Portlander getting where they need to be in town?
I see the average Portlander being able to get around with a good choice of options available to them. So that means we are going to have a very well-planned, run public transportation system for folks who can get around the inner city via bus. We're also going to have excellent bike lanes for folks who prefer to get around by pedal, and of course our bimodal commuters. And then we are also going to take care of our roads, fill those potholes, because there are folks in town who might work in construction or they're taking kids to school or sports practice who need to get around and drive as well. So however folks need to get where they're going, we want to make sure that they are supported by the city.
What part of the district do you expect will change the most in the next 10 years?
I expect a lot of changes to come in downtown, and I am optimistic about the changes we can expect to see. As I mentioned, I'm focused on solving Portland's addiction crisis. I'm a person in long-term recovery. I've been in recovery for over 7.5 years-ish now, and I'm the former policy director of an organization focused on solving the state's addiction crisis. I am really focused on how we can reduce overdoses and reduce public drug use that unfortunately has become all too commonplace in Portland, especially downtown. And I am someone who is going to bring that lived experience and policy experience to Portland City Council and be able to both collaborate with our partners at the state and the county and also hold them accountable because we have a behavioral health crisis that we need to get our arms around. But I am optimistic about this moment that we're in because I know this is a top priority, not just for folks who work in policy around it, but for Portlanders. They are ready to see some improvements, and that means finding a way to get more treatment to more people more quickly. And when we succeed in doing so, downtown starts to become the best version of itself again.
How does the city best support visionary public-private community projects?
So projects like these require good collaboration between our public and private sectors. And I think it's important to realize as a general proposition that we can achieve great things when we collaborate community leaders and stakeholders from both spaces. Folks in government certainly have a lot of tools and knowledge at their disposal, but our partners in the private sector have a lot to add as well. So again, I'm going to go back to the importance of collaboration and good relationships and good communication. So when we involve the community, get their input, find out what works best and what are the pitfalls we might want to avoid, we are able to make sure that these projects not only succeed but soar.
Lightning round. If you could wave a magic wand to make one thing happen in Portland, what would you do?
Drug treatment on demand.
What restaurant or food cart is totally underrated?
I don't know if it's underrated, but I love Magna Cucina.
What events or place in Portland that no longer exists do you wish you could bring back?
I miss Touche up on Northwest Gleason and about Northwest 14th there, the very cool billiards room.
Should the President Teddy Roosevelt statue come down?
President Roosevelt was a champion for working people by taking on big monopoly corporations, and that type of thing is worth recognition.
Would you describe Portland as more grunge, more jazz, or more indie pop?
90s kid right here, I'm gonna go with grunge.
So now you know your candidate, or a bit about them. We like to thank the visionary candidates, also like to especially thank all the volunteers and organizations that put this together. We couldn't do this without you. To look at each candidate, be a good Portland citizen, and to be a dashing and informed voter, listen to X-Ray FM to learn about ballots and the new ranked choice voting system. And check out portlandpossible.org.